Sometimes we love a character so much that we want to cosplay multiple versions of them. Default version, special banners, collaborations, and so much more. And let's be realistic, cosplay isn't a cheap hobby, so having so many costumes and wigs does add up quite a sum. But what if you can make the wig into a multi-purpose one? One wig for two looks. In today's video, I'll be talking you through the process of styling Robin's wig from Honkai Star Rail. This wig is special. Not only it is for the default version of her hair, it also transforms into the night version. So let's dive into it. You know, when my client approached me, asking whether it's possible to make such a wig, I was thrilled by the idea because I always love creative challenges like this. It took me some time to brainstorm. After all, I've never done something like this before. I've stopped half-up wigs and lots of ponytails, but making it transformable? It's not always possible, but these two designs were just the right combination for it to work. Let's look at the default hairstyle. To transform it into a ponytail, the bottom half and the rolls has to be removed. Then, to make it into a ponytail, the bottom half of the hair has to flow upwards so that it looks like the hair has been tied together in that direction. Then it was down to how we would attach the ponytail onto the main wig. So here I've skipped forward a little where the base has been glued down to make the bottom half of the ponytail. If you'd like to know more about how it's done, you can check out the tutorial on my website. I go in depth on how to prepare the base, plus adjusting the head mannequin to fit custom head sizes. Basically, here I'm styling the bottom half to give it an illusion that it's tied up into a ponytail. I'm gluing wefts starting from the center towards the edges to keep the edges soft. It's more comfortable to wear it this way in the long run. I used to glue the pieces from the outer edge, but I felt that glued hair pieces rubbing against my neck for long hours is really itchy, which is why I switched to this new method, and so far it's been pretty good. Here's how it looks all done. Now here I've split the top into two parts and you can see how the ponytail mechanism works. Underneath the wig base, I've sewn an extra fabric to make channels where the wire would go into. So the wire structure will be sandwiched in between the head and wig base. With that settled, I continued to style the top half of the wig. Instead of tying it like a usual half up to, I'm slowly gluing each section of the hair in place. I've also attached a piece of netting in between to prevent it from getting messy easily. And instead of gluing it down onto the base, I'm only gluing the tips together, so they kind of float over the bottom half. You'll see why later. This part took a lot of patience though. I worked with 3 to 4 layers each time to make sure they are all sturdily glued down. I also tried to make sure the hair flows as if it's tied into the twist braid instead of going all into a center point. Okay, so here where the wire would slide in later on, I added some glue around the opening to sort of make it stiffer so that it won't get messed up with the wire going in and out over time. Plus, it makes it easier to identify the correct position of where the ponytail attachment would go. Skipping forward, I'm attaching rolls of wefts onto webbing straps. These are usually used on bags and can withstand weight and wear over time. I'm sewing the strips on to keep them really secure. Then they are attached onto the top half of the wig with magnets. The center where the rose is has a larger piece compared to the rest of it. In total, I think there were at least 5 or more magnets. And if you're wondering what sort they are, I've mentioned it before in a short that they are neodymium magnets. To style the rest of the hair on the bottom, I'm just curling them into soft waves. I used a 32mm curling iron at low heat. The key really is to hold the piece until it fully cools down and take the shape of the curl. The wig is gradually coming together. I don't know about you, but I always like to style my wigs from the back, then moving forward to the front. Cause you know, like when we're styling the pieces at the back and clipping the hair up as we work on the bottom layers, the hair that goes to the front will mess up the bangs. So I always like to settle the back first, then move forward to the front to ensure the front looks perfect. After all, I think that the front matters way more because it frames your face and that's where you would photograph more over the back of your head. I won't go into much details of styling the bangs, but basically I'm just following the reference to style them. And here's how it looks. I've also added a detachable strand of hair on the side, which the night version has. This wig really has a lot of detachable parts, and that really took a lot of thinking and planning to make them work. Now we're almost there, except that the ponytail and the rose still have to be made. Here I'm gluing hair over the foam base. Again, I won't elaborate much on this since I've covered this in my tutorial, but I go into much more detail in them, so I really hope you check it out if you're very interested in learning more about making ponytail wigs. Robin's wig here is a variation of that, which you can try out if you've already learned how to style a basic ponytail wig from there. And there's so much more possibilities that you can explore once you've mastered the basics. It does cost a little for it, but it's a small token to support me to keep making these in-depth tutorials for you guys. And I really appreciate everyone who has purchased it. Thank you so much. Well, let's move on to the last part, which is making the rose hair bun. I've created the base with foam clay. It's super lightweight and easy to sculpt into any shape that you need. The downside is that you have to let it air dry completely before moving on to glue the hair pieces. So it's not something that you can rush. I'm making glue wefts and slowly covering the bun starting from the center. You can use the reference as a guide on where to stick the petals and how they will layer over each other, or you can just design your own rose, but I prefer to stick to the original design. Roses open up from the middle, so naturally you gotta start gluing from the center. I glue one end, then cut off the excess and glue the other end onto the bun. Keep working till the outermost petals, where they would cover the edge of the foam clay. I'm adding some glue over the back of the bun so that the hair strands will last longer. Since the bun will always be removed and reattached, there's a lot of movement that may cause the styling to fall apart if it's not properly glued down. And here's how the hair bun looks. Remember we had the large magnet in the center? It is so that it's strong enough to hold the wefts and the bun. Now let's take a look at our finished wig. First of all, we have the default version of Robin's hair. And here's where the transformation magic begins. First, remove the hair bun and put it aside. Then carefully remove the long hair wefts. Brushing the ponytail to keep it tangle-free before we slide it on and into the channels. The ponytail is really lightweight so the wig doesn't fall backwards at all. By the way, there's no pins on the display mannequin. Finally, attaching the side strand, tidy it up a bit, and we have the night version of our Robin 2-in-1 wig. And that was the process of how this wig came to be. I hope you found it interesting and maybe learn a thing or two. If you're gonna make a transformable wig, let me know in the comments what you're gonna do. And as always, if you enjoy videos like this, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you again very soon in the next video. Bye bye!